Hey everyone, so sometimes I still get comments on old videos of mine, like 5-year-old videos of mine, and back in the day I used to do speed builds more and did less voiceovers because I was very bad at them and my English wasn't as good as it is now. I'm still learning every day, but yeah, it wasn't the best, and I've contemplated for a long time to actually private my old videos, but on the other hand I also don't want to because I feel like that's hiding me being bad and me actually having to learn how to do YouTube. I'm still learning, but I feel like I've grown a lot since then, and like privating those videos would mean that I'm like hiding where I'm coming from. On the other hand, if new people see those videos from 2017, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry you had to endure that. Anyways, today I'm gonna be reacting to some of my old builds on YouTube and see what I think of them now, because I actually haven't gone back to them in a long time now. So let's go down the old rabbit hole. So the first house I'm going to be reacting to is actually this building an island house, because that is the video that actually made my channel and made me more popular. Because before that, as you can see, I did have quite some views, but it wasn't anything like this island house. This island house really kickstarted my YouTube channel. So let's get back to it. Oh my god, that intro alone. Okay, so I immediately get into the tour. That is something that I would not do right now. I would actually tour first. But anyways, let's get to the tour of this place. I can already see the roof, which disappoint me. So okay, explaining this, when did I upload this? So I uploaded this April 12, 2017, so that's over 5 years ago. Now, the reason I did this wall was because Bloxburg was very dark with the smaller map. It is still quite dark, but then it was like super dark. So I wanted to make this blue wall to make it look more like we're at the beach and we're like having a nice light coming through, or like just a nice sky. And also to block people from just jumping on my plot and like knocking on all of my doors, because I did include a lot of windows in my build. But yeah, I decided to build that house purely because I like the aesthetic of the water and the sand. However, right now it looks kind of dodgy. But yeah, this is what I did back in the day. I mean, in this house, I must say, like, my color choices are bad, but not as bad as in some other houses. But my material choices sometimes, like the concrete bath. And actually, Leona, you might know her from Twitter, is in this video in the bathtub. I forgot about that completely. That is so funny. Okay, I take everything back about the materials I used. It's terrible. And the decals as well. I just did some nice decals that I thought were fitting. Here you see Leona again. This is actually quite funny. I wonder how old she was then. Oh my god, the materials in this room, I actually used that bird material. That is so disappointing, my goodness. And so this house was 400,000 only because I did place a pool all around the build, and yeah, my red kitchen and stuff, gosh, that is something that I would not do anymore. But so yeah, that is the first house that really got me popular. Looking at my avatar, I have so many regrets right now. Then moving on to the next house that kind of blew up was this family house that I made also 5 years ago. So I wanted to push like 2 or 3 speed builds every week, and back then you could actually do that. But oh my goodness, it was hard. Anyways, I can clearly see that I have made this on my alt account because I blocked out the name. I do not have that alt account anymore, so that's quite funny actually. Again, starting straight away with the speed build, so moving on to the tour. Okay, that's when I used the stairs as a roof. So I was already kind of into slanted roofs. There was just not a better way to make this. Again, I kind of regret the material choices that I made even more here. Like, this is worse than the island house. Okay, the walls are okay, but then I decided to use that black stone color on the walls and then that wood material on the floor, and I have tiles on the ceiling, which is quite a lot. I even used those stones in my kitchen. My goodness, what was I thinking back then? I used normal brick in the fireplace, but then I used like these stacked stones on the walls. Wow. Okay, I must say I did get better. I'm not there yet, but I did get a lot better than what I was back then. But yeah, I don't think we had advanced placing back in the day as well. So, oh my god, I just realized that I did not rotate any of my trees. So all of my trees are facing the same way. Let me actually go back to that. All of my trees are facing the same way. My gosh. Okay, so what I regret most probably is my material choices. Like, the layout of this house is okay. I was getting something. I was like doing something, but the materials that I used are so terrible. I can't even begin to address how much I hate that now. Wow, like the marble material did look a lot better though, but like why did I use the zebra material on the floor? Then next up is my tropical house from 5 years ago as well. Seeing myself on the intro, I was still skinny then. It's kind of depressing. So this one is from 9 June. Oh my god, you can also see the houses like on the map. Bloxburg has changed so much. But I remember this was like my favorite house I ever made back in the day. I was so proud of that house. So this is the front, and when you enter you have the yoga studio. It is getting a little bit better. It's already better than the other houses. The material choices are a little better. I'm so gonna regret saying that, but I feel like I did get a little bit better here at choosing my materials, kept it very simple. Wow, actually very under detailed. I don't know why I liked using that zebra rug so much. That is something that, I don't know, why did I do that? Okay, and then upstairs you had a little loft with a dining room. I would never put the dining room on the second floor if your living room is on the bottom floor, but oh well. But the material choices are okay-ish so far. I'm like not hating this, but I don't love it either. I can see why in 2017 that this was my favorite house. That is something I can give this house. I can see why I loved it. However, I would choose things a little bit differently today, but that was my mindset in 2017. Okay, the blue bathroom, it's questionable. Wow, not me putting a rock band decal in. Wow, okay, anyways. So yeah, very fancy. Okay, the rooms are very, very under-detailed. Yeah, so under-detailed. I don't hate this house. This is not the worst house that I made. And then this house, a lot of people loved this house. When did I upload that? 18th of August, so almost exactly 5 years ago. This was my first ever hill house. It looks like a triangle was planted on the floor. The material choices are terrible again. Oh my god, the elephants and everything. Terrible choices. What was I thinking with the mirror though? The mirror is so bad. Yeah, that house is not it. However, it did have a lot of room. The rooms did not have any windows because it was inside a hill. Wow. And back then I also allowed people to just roam around my build when I was recording, even though I asked them like 20 times to sit down and not go in front of me because I was recording. I allowed myself to ignore that and actually let people just walk in front of me because I said it so many times. But you also weren't able to block people. So if someone was annoying, you weren't able to block them. So you just had to kind of deal with it. And that's what I did. But I remember a lot of people actually getting angry at me for letting people walk around. But there wasn't much that I could do about that. Yeah, I told them to sit down, but as you can see, they wanted to be in the video very, very bad. And then the upstairs, you can see the grass coming through the floor, which is quite funny. I loved to use that stone wall with the green color. I thought that was such a revelation for me. I thought that was so cool. And now I look at it and I'm like, wow, what was I thinking? But yeah, this was my first ever hill house. I would do it completely differently now because right now it looks like a block was thrown in Bloxburg and I just built a house in it. It doesn't even look like a mountain. It just looks like a triangle that was thrown there. I would not do that again. But it was in its time, so yeah. And then there is one more video I want to go back to, and that is the tiny village that I have made. So that was the first ever village or neighborhood that I created. We still were locked to the 30 by 30 plot, so the large plot game pass did not exist. And I do remember why the toilets I just shown had blinds instead of doors. That's because they were a 1x1 square and you could not place doors in 1x1 square, so that was the solution. Now anyways, this is my first ever tiny neighborhood or like city. I did make an IKEA inside of this. Yeah, fun. But yeah, this was my first ever like finished neighborhood. I don't quite know. There was one house in it that I loved, and that's one I want to find back. It was like a corner house, not this. You know what? That was not the first village I finished. I know where I wanted to go, and yeah, my tiny town was actually... Hold up. Did I miss something? Did I just scroll through some... Okay, I went straight from tiny town to tiny village. So I actually did build 3 of them, but the one I just showed you, I totally forgot about for some weird reason, which I don't know why. Okay, there we go. My tiny town alive. That was the first town I ever finished. May 2017, that's the one I was looking for. I think that one looked actually better than the second town that I have made. Why is it so laggy? Gee. Oh, this was a live stream. Okay. Okay, that is the house I wanted to get back to. I got the question marks on the thumbnail. I made this corner house. I was so proud of it. It was hidden away. It was like 1 block wide at the front, and I thought that was so cool. And it was like quite big inside actually, but that was like the front of the house, and I thought that was so cool of me to do that, and I was like so edgy doing that. But yeah, that was probably my favorite house in my first town that I ever finished. So as you can see, big windows at the back because you were at the corner of your plot, or the 30 by 30 plot. The material choices though, why did I want to use every single material in the build mode catalog? Did I think that using every material would make my house better or something? I'm so glad I got off of that. But I'm still bad at choosing materials. I got better though. Like, it's not like this anymore. But yeah, that was my favorite house because it looked a bit hidden away, but it was actually very, very big on the inside. But yeah, my houses back in the day, my goodness. But I'm gonna leave them up because I do think it's important to see where I come from. And it's nice to actually go back and see building styles of 2017, 2018. I know new people might think that I'm like super bad at doing Bloxburg. That was how it was done back in the day. So hi, Peter. But yeah, that was how it was done, and that's it. And I learned from it, and I did get better, and I found what I like to do best, and it's not speed builds anymore because I kind of grew out of them. But yeah, that's how it was done back in the day, and I'm actually glad I still have that recorded because you do forget what it's all about. Now anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. If you remember one of my old builds, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, and please subscribe.